It looked to me like smoke that signified some kind of omen. Smoke that spreads out and covers everything.
Very recently, I told a friend of mine to watch FLCL.
Alright, lunchtime! Already?
My reaction to someone having never seen FLCL was a justified, "What? No way, and you gotta," with a confused stare and a push in the right direction. But it got me thinking, is FLCL really what everyone makes it out to be? What I make it out to be? Now, I haven't seen FLCL or Furikuri or Furikuri or whatever you want to call it in a very long time. When I was younger, I was introduced to it, and despite not understanding the adult themes or references, I just liked it. It was short, the art was nice, and it was not only funny, but as a kid it made me say, "Whoa, that's cool." Obviously, I've seen it more times than once, and each time with older eyes and more understanding. And despite not having seen it in a very long time, I can still remember the entire first episode nearly by heart, and even the episodes after that. Here's the thing, there are very few animes you can ask an opinion on and the vast majority will say, you have to watch it. Animes like Akira, Fullmetal Alchemist, Evangelion, and FLCL. But it got me thinking, is it actually as good as we make it out to be? After all, sometimes we think something is good in the past, but as it gets older, it just loses whatever it had, and a newer viewer might not get the thing that made it so good. However, unlike most things, I think anime kind of falls under a different genre. I've hardly ever been told to watch a great anime and been disappointed in it. If the vast majority says it's good, it's most likely always good. I almost think that animes that are good because they just age very well. Sure, the animation can improve and these are trendsetters, or shows that despite looking like maybe a little bit trashy, have such a big influence on our modern world without us knowing. Take Evangelion, for instance. Sure, it doesn't look like trash, but it's not the best animated thing out there, and it's especially cheesy.
ペンギンという鳥の仲間よ。それより前隠したら？
Especially to today's standards, but its focuses on themes that at the time might have been taboo, and its influence from religion definitely helps it look interesting. FLCL is not like this. It isn't outdated animation, it isn't extremely 90s or 80s cheese, and it doesn't focus on one message or influence. For those of you who don't know, FLCL is about a town where nothing ever happens. Well, actually, quite a lot happens. Like robots coming out of kids' foreheads and sexual innuendos and schools being set on fire and the weird big iron-shaped medical building that gasses the town every so often, or the fact that aliens may or may not be a thing and that the symbolic god of death is a literal sweetheart wearing a bomber jacket. The story of FLCL isn't something I can just explain. It's about a kid whose brother is in America, the girl he hangs out with is perverted and desperate. The FBI is curious about a girl and has the ability to fight monsters with her moped, and it's all somehow a coming-of-age puberty story. That's not even half of the story, and even that doesn't really make sense. Does that sound interesting? I mean, maybe it sounds interesting, but it sounds confusing, and no one wants to be confused when they watch something. Yet, here's the thing. I think the fact that it's confusing is what makes FLCL good. Sure, the animation is great, and sure, the characters are likable, but the show is an utter mess, always leaving you wanting a better explanation for what hasn't been explained, so you watch it over and over and over, in its never-ending analogy of something. But is it good? In my opinion, I do think that it is good. And that's a very specific word to use. Good. It keeps the watcher interested. It shocks you with confusion and bombards you with weird jokes and odd animation choices.
It's you, the Vespa woman!
Why are you yelling?
Grab a guitar and you can be a pop idol. Chicks dig it, dude. Pyong.
Pyong?
Like filter or slash. Like Red Hot Chili Peppers or Rage Against the Machine or Richard Cheese.
There's one that doesn't fit the list, you know.
What are you doing? Jeez!
Annika will be all over us. Just forget Raharu. She'll just complicate everything.
Don't I get one of those candies? I want to get the sweetest one. Super sweet, if you know what I mean.
There, under your hood. Is it Furikuri again?
Chill out. We're not going on Star Search. That hurt. Why'd Mew Mew get on your case yesterday?
Someone sees it going around like that.
I saw him at 7-Eleven. He was reading Hustler.
When?
But it never leaves you satisfied. I think that most good animes like to do this. It's very rare to come by an anime that satisfies you. You watch them and you simply want more, and oh boy, do people want more. A good example of this is the movie Akira, which is not even half of what the manga is, so obviously people want more. Unlike something like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which keeps a very close storyline and rounds everything off, it's extremely rare to find a good anime that does that. But FLCL's story was written, and there used to be no promise of anything else. It's been such a long time. It's amazing to think FLCL was released in 2000. I just hope with the addition of the sequel, we're never truly understanding of what FLCL is actually about, that we never get satisfied. I want FLCL to live in a never-ending loop of rewatches, and oh my god, you haven't seen FLCL? It's so good! So, is FLCL good? Yes. Is it as good as we make it out to be? Maybe. I'll just have to rewatch it 5 more times to figure that out. And maybe that in itself is the answer.
Here.
Huh? But I said I don't like sour stuff.
I realize now that this video is pointless.
Nota! Did you hear?
What?
The Vespa woman!
Vespa? A wasp woman?
She has a guitar.
And a cool Yusaku bike!
Not exactly.
Some girl in the other class had her super spicy curry bread stolen.
Super spicy?
And when she stings, she leaves a demon's mark that shows you've been doing naughty things and it never goes away!
What naughty things?
Well,
Like something really perverted.
Yeah? Perverted?
So, what's that mark?